Sometimes it's important for the chief executive and chair to work out when they cannot have the conversations between them and sit down, discuss the issues without a lot of sensitivity, and arrive at a resolution. The realization of when help is needed is an important one. And what may be helpful is actually bringing an independent person in who has an objective view and who can create an environment that enables both the chief executive and chair to talk to each other in that space and work out what their concerns are and how their concerns will be addressed. A facilitator can be extremely useful in providing the objectivity and the independence that can be needed when conflict breaks out. I'll share with you an example of an organization that used our services at Onboard to facilitate a conflict they had. The chief executive felt that the board was getting in his way and holding him back in progressing the work of the organization. The organization was growing rapidly, and he wanted to get on very quickly with progressing its work. The board, on the other hand, felt that the chief executive was unable to take instruction from them as a board, and through the chair, they felt that probably the best thing that could happen was for the chief executive to move on because they felt that he was constantly surprising them. When we were called in as facilitators to undertake the listening exercise with the chief executives and chairs, we're able to get them to sit independently in a meeting and talk about their concerns and to share what they saw as being resolutions to their concerns. We later brought them together to share these concerns with each other with the ground rule that when one was talking, the other one did not interrupt. This is really important because it's helpful when both parties can listen and really listen to each other. So what did they come up with that made a difference? After the facilitated meeting, the chief executive was able to appreciate that the board did not like surprises. They wanted to be kept in the know. The board is ultimately responsible for the running of the organization. And while they recognized that the chief executive was keen, they wanted to be reassured that the organization was being run legally, that it was complying, and that they were informed. The board, on the other side, was able to appreciate that they would not always be able to keep pace with the developments of the organization, particularly when decisions had to be made extremely quickly. So what they decided to do was to delegate more authority to the chief executive to take decisions in particular areas, with the caveat that he needed to report back to them as soon as possible and inform them of developments so that there were no surprises. The result was that the chief executive and the chair were able to have a relationship that worked. And again, a happy story that ended well is that the chief executive is still there and the board is a happy board.